first Vegas convention I went to was 2006, so the 40th.
2018.
2018. Okay.
The Star Trek convention for the first time in 2012. I didn't know anyone.
It was 2018. I had followed Twitter and was just obsessed with it even beforehand. And when I travel, I'm a very type A personality, and discovered the Shore Leave 101 podcast that Heather, Jeff, Maria, and Jesse had done a few years ago. And it just gave me all the tools I needed to say, you know what, I'm going to do this thing. Let's make it happen. Went into it saying, this will be a one-time. I'll go. I'll get it out of my system. And I was there, I think, maybe 3-4 hours, and I was texting my husband. It's like, nope, we're coming back next year. It's going to be great. I'm definitely coming back. So 2018 was that first year. It was an incredible experience amongst your tribe.
Like, yeah, I'll come do this once. And I was still walking down that main hallway of the Rio going towards this thing, towards the rotunda. And I didn't even make it there yet. When I knew, I'm like, I'm going to come every year until I die.
Well, the first time I was ever at a Star Trek convention, it was an accident.
Accident?
Yeah, I was, in 2005, I was affected by Hurricane Katrina. And so I ended up taking a job in Sedona, Arizona. And a girlfriend of mine that I knew back in New Orleans, she flew to Las Vegas. And I said, hey, listen, there's this Star Trek The Experience thing over at the Hilton. Would you mind if we hopped in there? And she was like, oh girl, I'm a Trekkie. And so just like, we had known each other for a few years, and neither one of us knew we were Trekkies. And so as soon as we got to the experience, we hit the gift shop and got some Bajoran nose bridges, and I got a t-shirt that says Risa is for lovers. And we sat down at the bar and had a warp core breach and started chatting some people up, and it turned out that we just happened to be there during the Star Trek.
First time there, I freaked out. My first time there, I walked in and I was going up to the counter to check in, and I hear, Tracee, Cocco, Lieutenant Jay, and I turn around and I'm like, oh my God, somebody.
The 50th anniversary was coming up in 2016. I said, I've got to do it. I've got to commit to it. I think I decided I was going to do it maybe 3 months beforehand, so I had to, buy a scalped ticket off of eBay and paid gold prices for Commander's package. But yeah, 2016 was my first year, and what was interesting for me is that I was just completely alone. I was solo there. My brother came with me, but he was off doing his own stuff in Vegas, so it was just me at the convention. I didn't know a single person there. I had photo ops and autograph tickets and everything, but just meeting people and connecting with them, it was absolutely amazing.
So many. There are just so many.
The main event hall, the theater room, where they have a lot of the panels, I definitely hang out in that room a lot because it's nice to hear, stories from the sets and see where the actors are, what they're up to these days. And I kind of roam around and do a little bit of everything. Sometimes, even if I haven't gotten a photo op, I'll go in and just look at everybody else's photo ops because there's some really good ones just laying out on the table. So I'm really, kind of all over the place.
I like when we put together kind of just the fan arranged meetups, like mostly just for cosplay pictures is the whole purpose. But I went to one that someone was hosting in Quarks, and it was a Dabo Girl meetup, and there were only 3 of us, but we were like, all right, it's fine, we're gonna make the best of it. And we took pictures together and just chatted while people took our pictures for like an hour, and I got to know these 2 people so well, and I don't think that would have happened if it was a huge group thing. So it's nice to just be able to slow down and take an hour and chat. And the pictures are super cute, so there's that too. But
it's so much fun, and then signing stuff is fun. My weirdest thing I've ever signed, this guy's standing at my table, and the table's kind of high, so you can't really see his bottom half. So he's like, I'd like you to sign a personal item, and I'm like, okay. Oh my God, all of a sudden he does a click, takes off his leg and throws it on my table.
Wow.
That's great.
Like a lot of the fan run panels, like the science panels and stuff. That's what I'm more into. I'm not big on the celebrity Q&As because they tend to get repetitive.
Yeah.
But I do like seeing, the fan theory, smaller people like game developers and those panels. I attend those quite a bit. So
I totally agree.
Those are one of my favorite experiences that I had there was the stunt panel that
Oh yeah.
I was on with Pat Tillman. Yeah.
Yep.
That I walked out and saw, because usually when I have a panel or go on stage, there's people out there, but this one I walked out and I'm like, wow, people everywhere, like everywhere. It was just, it made my heart happy.
Oh, funny story. So our first year as press was the 50th. And we had no idea what we were doing. We were there covering it for the Facebook, for KG&G. We had little badges or whatever. We were excited. And the Whoopi Goldberg's on stage. And we're standing in back. We're just going to do like what we're supposed to do and like kind of hide back here and just take pictures. And one of the security guards comes up to us and she sees that we're press. And she's like, oh no, you should be up front. Girl, we got to go behind the black curtain right in the front stage. We were there almost the entire Whoopi talk. And I swear me and Whoopi made eye contact.
After the DS9 panel, with all of the DS9 main actors, except of course for Avery, who, he doesn't come to these, but there was like an after party. And so I was hanging around with the DS9 cast and a few other fans, and it was in Cork's area, but it was kind of closed off at that point, and we just sat and talked about Discovery of all things. So that was pretty special. That's when I got to know Aaron and Melissa really well, and just really enjoyed that sort of authentic conversation where I've got the whole cast of DS9 is sitting around and they're fangirling and fanboying about Discovery. It was cool. It was very cool.
I like the freedom that we have to do our own photo shoots and stuff. And one thing that I organized last year, which was really cool, was the whole Canadian meetup. I'm sure you've seen pictures of it all over the place. So.
Yes, that's awesome.
I thought it was a great idea. Right now, I did start a Canadian Star Trek group. It's kind of inactive at this point, but who knows? When events start again, I feel like things will start ramping up. It's just nice to get the largest foreign contingent together to do that photo op. And we had Nicole DeBoer, somebody invited her to come along.
There was this one hour span at last year's convention where it was just like so many amazing things crammed into just this little tiny bit. And I knew they were going to happen in rapid succession, but it just all worked absolutely perfectly. I had a bridge photo op with Nichelle Nichols, and she was just, delightful. And then I had a bridge photo op with Shatner, and my best friend Tyler joined in on that. And last year was the 25th anniversary of Generations, so Tyler leaned in and said, "Happy 25th anniversary of Generations," and Shatner said, "What?" And I leaned in and said, "Star Trek Generations, the movie where it's instead of Captain on the Bridge, it's Bridge on the Captain." And then I just bolted out of there while he was laughing. Absolutely 100% my friends. Seeing my Trek family.
Such a family. Because, and again, I've been to other conventions promoting other projects, and there was never this sense of family, but with Star Trek, it really is. There are people that will plan this, coming to these conventions as this is their vacation of the year, or this is their highlight of the year. At one convention, they've already, booked their plans for the next year.
It feels like you're home the entire time that you're there, because you can pretty much walk up and talk to
After
anybody.
that, one of my favorite things about STLV is being able to give away passes. Like, doing the contest every year has been one of my highlights, especially because I've been doing it the past 2 years at the Rio. So we were doing it with Trekkies that were already there. We were, at one point, I think one of the years we had a winner that was there when we drew their name, Yeah. So, one of my favorite experiences of STLV is letting other people experience what we were so lucky to have been able to experience.
Star Trek is this fantasy world that we all love to watch, and it's an escape from reality. And when you go to the convention and you get to see these guys, Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating are so much fun. Like, they are just cutting up, making jokes. They are there to have a ball. And so it's so cool to meet people like even Richard Hatch from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
He was always one of my favorite people every year to just chat up. And you know, after a while, you build a rapport with people. And Michael Aaron from Time Zero, TNG, he's a friend of mine. And he was also on China Beach, which is one of my all-time favorite shows. So
cool.
it's such a cool experience to get to interact with, you know, the actors on your favorite TV show. How many people?
Manager said, you know, you're going to have to wait until Voyager's anniversary to come back. But everyone was saying, well, are you coming back next year? Are you coming back next year? And I remember thinking, well, I was told I'm not supposed to. But I just went, you know what? I really want to. I want to because I really wanted to see everyone again. And it's really become that even for me in just a short time. And I'm like, this is like family. Like, I want to see everybody again.
The biggest part is the people. You know, you go there and I'm very much an introverted person. I will be the first to say I do not like people until I get to Vegas, and then you come right out of your shell, and it's the term tribe comes in. You're amongst your people, and I think it's also the only time where you're able to have the Star Trek experience as a true immersive experience. For the entire week, when you see people in uniforms and costumes, that's not strange at all. When you get back on the airplane, all of a sudden it's back.
I mean, so many great things start at Vegas, you know, and I think a lot of people start out as just an attendee, and then over time, you know, you start to fall in love with different aspects of the convention and maybe even the production of it, and then you start doing your own podcasts or your own Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff, and it just grows perpetually, this community, which is awesome.
You know, it's all about being with my friends and just walking the halls and cosplay and photos and the vendors room and just being with them and connecting with people, and that's what's special to me. That's the most important part of it. And that I was actually amazed at how quickly I gained a group of close friends.
Everyone is just so incredibly open and happy and welcome, and you know, even if they're rushing off to a photo op or a panel or whatever, they're still like, oh my god, it's so good to see you, bye, I'll see you later, bye, you know. And it's the greatest thing. And then the friendships that I've made over the years with people that I otherwise would not have met and would not have known, you know.
Seeing friends, doing the landing party. It's so cliche to say that it's all about the people, but it's all about the people, because those people I get to see once a year, but in this heightened, fun party atmosphere. Couldn't ask for
I feel
anything.
like you have to really be at a Star Trek convention because you need to see the magnitude of this, but it's also to feel the magnitude of this. It's the energy that you get from all of the people, and to really see the whole life that's there.
Spoken camaraderie amongst the people too. Like Ron and I have never physically met. We just haven't connected at the convention before, but we've been talking online for a couple of years, and you know, we play some of the same games, and you know, we've connected on there. So it's like we're all just one big family.
I met Michael 2018, and that's like we started chatting at the Starbucks, and we're like, hey, let's do a podcast, and here we are. Nice. We have more friends. Moving up in the world, Mike.
I love when people just do something really simple, but that I've never seen before. Like there's someone who does the Mego line of action figures, and I think that's great. I've seen one that's a transporter accident that just kind of mixes together a bunch of pieces. I love stuff like that. And then as simple as like there was a Riker, but he brought a trombone, you know, stuff like that. It's like, oh, that's a new and different layer, and I really like to see that.
I did the Starfleet stewardesses.
I love that. That was amazing. Yeah. I just saw a picture, my memories feed.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had such a great time, and I one of the questions everyone asks is like, oh, why are you in a red shirt? I'm like, because I'm new at this. And, you know, and why are you wearing pants? Everyone else is wearing skirts. I'm like, I'm going to be on the ground. I'm not going to be in a skirt if I'm a red shirt.
I love seeing all the costumes. I have to say, like, I'm amazed. There are the people that come in a different costume every day. I'm just like, wow. Entire families, where it's like from infant baby to the family pet.
I've done a lot of costume contests before, like outside of Star Trek, so I'm kind of used to the whole thing and how that all goes. But it was nice just getting on stage and winning the first Discovery Award. It's too bad they didn't have it the following year, but that was amazing.
That is the Thermians from Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Like, because they were in character the whole time they were in there, and they were going around, you know, clapping at people. And, you know, I asked them, I'm like, can I you mind if I take your picture? And they're like, where is the commander? You know, and they're like, oh, historical document.
Not just in Star Trek Las Vegas, but I've seen them at New York Comic Con, you know, and they never break character, you know. So it's like when I'm like, oh, you know, you know me and I know you, like they're not, you know. No, they don't break. They're like, we have never met you before. Fanfare always has like the most intricate and outlandish costumes. I think my favorite one, he did Lursa, the Klingon from Next Generation. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, one of my favorite ones is when he does Cher Cote. It's like Cher but Chakotay blended together. It's like that. It's like the Tuvix, like Neelix and Tuvok accident, but it's like Cher and Chakotay. That's the best one. So.
There was 2 or 3 people dressed as Wadi, and they were perfect Wadi. Like the guy looked just like him. Like it was ridiculous. And you'd hear him like walking around going, Alan Moraine, out of nowhere.
I don't know if they could get a photo with you guys, and they're like, we're like, they want a photo with us? Like with us. They want, are you sure?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah.
That's so
yeah,
cool.
we will. Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we put our heels back on, ourselves situated again real quick. Cause I mean, we were literally at that point, it was like, okay, it's time to go upstairs, take this corset off because I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And again, it was my first time like really truly cosplaying, like getting into a character and actually being, you know, a Starfleet stewardess. And it was absolutely fun, and I'm gonna definitely do it again.
That's
first convention, we heard about this special guest announcement that we'd all be hearing. And when Patrick Stewart came out, the reaction of the audience, the phone blowing up from the Facebook chats you were in and Twitter, everybody just having that same moment of, is this really happening? And being surrounded by, 5,000-6,000 people that share that same level of excitement that I had. And recognizing right there that there is a big community involved with Star Trek. And I was not alone in that moment. I had people I could talk to. I was like, this is so exciting. My friends and family indulged me back home. But it's, not the same level of excitement as you had at STLV. So in that moment, the energy in that room was the moment when I said, hey, I'm coming back here. This is my thing now.
And I think one of my other ones was when Jean-Luc, Patrick Stewart, wasn't scheduled to be there. Was it 2018 or 2019? Wasn't scheduled to be there. Thank you. Wasn't scheduled to be there. Walks on stage. We're at the time, I think we're in Quarks. We're just hanging out. We're kind of relaxing. Our feet are killing us, blah, blah. We hear everybody start going, whoa, go to the main hall, go to the main hall. Ah. And we're like, what the heck is going on? So we all run, and there is Sir Patrick Stewart on stage. And we're like, he's not supposed to be here. And he's telling us about Picard.
And that speech about why he is coming back, I was bawling. I was like,
I died. It's like literally, like I think I died, like was hovering above myself for a while, watching myself, crying, going, I can't believe it's you.
That was such an amazing moment. I was in the back of the hall, and I had a 4th row seat. And when I found out that they were making that announcement, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to peek my head in and see. And then I saw Patrick walk out on stage, and I bolted up to my seat, nastily kicked somebody out of my seat, sat down in my seat. He made the announcement, Jean-Luc Picard is back. And I turned and looked, and a friend of mine who was like 2 rows away was just bawling, crying.
I remember taking a selfie video of all of us just screaming like, Picard is back. And I remember him telling this story, and he was like, I thought that I was done with Star Trek. And can I indulge in my terrible Patrick Stewart impersonation?
Oh, please do.
And he's like, I auditioned for this part, and the director said to me, you did great, but why would I want the captain of the Enterprise on my film? And he said that's when he decided he was like done with it. And then he got that letter from this, I think it was a Las Vegas police officer or deputy, who was like, I see all these terrible things throughout the day, but when I come home and I turn on the television, and he sees like the best stuff.
When things settle down, we'll bring us back, and we'll even have, peanuts and water or something,
Pass out stuff to everybody.
Yeah, pass stuff out or something, get a little bit of time to stockpile some peanuts and ginger ale or something.
Red Angel suit that's in progress.
Oh,
I had stopped working on it when this Corona stuff happened, and then STLV be canceled. I did not find the motivation, but I do plan to continue and bring it out for 2021.
Well, I am working on some new cosplay for Star Trek, but it's secret. I told you, I think, that I'm not going to tell anybody else.
We'll keep it on the DL.
Yeah, and so that's just one idea that I have. So I want to make that idea happen first, and then I'll move on to it.
When they asked if Lorca would come back, who would be the next captain in season 2? And he's like, I don't know, maybe Lucius Lorca. So I was like, that's a great cosplay.
By next year too, after season 3 is out, then there'll be more uniform and cosplay opportunities.
Well, it looks like there's a lot of just kind of casual looking clothes and stuff that they have in the new series, but I noticed the Red Angel suit will be there for the first part, so I'll have to bring that out for sure.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
I think that's exciting to be at Caesar's Palace. It's right in the middle of the strip. It's a historic property. It's beautiful. There's a lot to do in that area. You're completely
Conventions in person again one day.
Someday. I mean, we wear masks anyway if we're in cosplay a lot of the time, so.
Oh, exactly. You just build it in. That would be
So just
perfect.
everyone's required to be a Breen next year.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Right.